viewers, and welcome to the 1873 TV. Your vision, your power. Your vision on issues that matter, and your power to inspire new thinking, new outcomes, and new possibilities. My name is Tinashe Mpasiri. This evening on the 1873 TV, we'll bring you another informative show on building communities of shared interest, and this is the 1873 Mentee's Circle. Today's discussion will be centered on property, which we have been also having a discussion on the 1873 FM. So joining me on the discussion, I happen to be joined by Mr. Mawere. Mr. Mawere, a very good evening and welcome to the 1873 TV.
Good evening. How are you this evening?
I'm fabulous, I must say. And I also happen to be joined by Maki. Maki, a very good evening and welcome.
Evening. Lovely to be here.
Awesome. And the three gentlemen who are known collectively as a true verb, Oscar, Desire, and Simba. Gentlemen, a very good evening and welcome to the 1873 TV.
Evening to
Tinashe.
Yes. Yesterday, we were actually having a discussion on building communities of shared interest, and we continue on having a discussion around that aspect, but more focused on property, since we have been also looking at ownership literacy and, more importantly, the aspect of property on the 1873 FM. That being said, we know that as many individuals are illiterate or are profoundly illiterate when it comes to this aspect of ownership, and more importantly when it comes to property. What can you share with the viewers out there, especially what we draw from the lessons in the morning show, or that is on the Continental Sunrise Breakfast Show? And I'm posing this question to the gentleman.
Okay. All right. I don't know where you want us to start. Do you want us to start from what we did yesterday, or in defining what property is, or we continue with what we did today, on expanding it, where it comes from, and who has a right to it or who doesn't have a right? I don't know. We need to make sure first before I answer it.
Yes, we can actually just, from yesterday, a brief, then we can be able to connect it with where we started off today, so that the viewers out there, they are not disconnected about the conversation that we're having.
Okay. On defining property, we're using the state of nature, which one of the ideas we draw them from a gentleman called John Locke, who states that all men by nature are equally free and independent, and he also says that from creation, the world has been made common to all men, meaning to say that it's accessible to everyone, but what is in the world or what is on the ground only becomes something of someone if someone puts his or her labor and time to it, which means that what makes that particular item become someone's property is because of the combination of the labor that someone has put into that. So if we are coming back to define what John Locke also states about property, the first property that he talks of is your labor and your time, which is within you, and your ideas, creativity towards extracting something from the ground or whatever and developing it into becoming something of value.
Okay, very interesting aspect that you have also lighted upon. I mean, at the end of the day, one individual can be like, okay, you're talking about this philosopher called John Locke, whom you are drawing lessons from.
Yes.
And how are these lessons, how do they actually correlate to the way we are living in nowadays? And importantly, when you look at the notions as far as property is concerned,
yes,
what people deem it to be, and also what they basically think about it. I think earlier in the morning I alluded to the fact that if you were to go to an individual who thinks that because they fought the liberation war, and you were to define to him that this is my understanding of property, This is my understanding, especially when it comes to the aspect of ownership. Would you not actually cause a fight at all?
Okay, probably to go even a little bit deeper into defining the property that we're talking about. Let's do this first. We are taking everything back to nature before we had to put structures that are there to govern us or to protect people, from how they're going to be living and to protect them from what they've worked for. So according to this gentleman that we're talking about, get this right and let's start from there. The first property that one has is your labor and your time. That you, or maybe sweat, I don't know how to put it. That's what you have. As me, as Oscar, what I have as an individual is, if I manage to, let's say I go and extract metal from the ground, and then I take that, I do whatever I'm going to do with it, and then I end up with something like this. This thing that I've made, it becomes my property because I have extracted, I've taken a piece of what the earth has been made common to everyone without a label, which is also free for me to access it just like you. So the moment I take it out from the ground, which was made common to everyone, that step that I've made towards getting that thing, automatically, because I've put my labor to it and I've changed its form from where it was into something that you would want to also use, then that means that that thing is my property because there is my labor to it and my time to it. I don't know if it's
Makes sense. It does make sense.
so that thing eventually becomes something of value if you need it. Yes. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I actually get what you also put across, and it makes perfect sense. And what actually got me, thinking as well, is what you alluded to as the first property that you have is your labor.
Yes.
And
your time.
And your time. And I was just thinking, as far as the mind itself is concerned, that's where everything starts. Wouldn't that be the first property that an individual has?
That is. Because why are we saying that? What moves you into going to dig down deep, and it's your creativity. You have ideas that you have in your mind, and those ideas, they are only expressed through your labor, your effort, and your sweat, and your time that you're putting to that particular thing that you want to do.
So you're trying to say your first property is your mind? Can I get it clear?
Okay. Right, I don't know where I lost you guys, but let's start over.
You didn't lose me. I understand completely.
We're with you.
Yeah.
Let's go forward.
By your mind, no one can take it away from.
That's
By your
right.
mind, we mean it's your creativity, whatever you decide to use your mind towards. It's you, it's part of you, no one can take it out of you.
But
That's
if
the
you
same.
look at property
Yes.
without the law, what is it?
It's not property.
So
Without the
Yeah,
law.
because property needs something to govern. If you
Yes.
come to claim property, I need some sort of.
so first you must have access to it.
Yes.
Yes.
You must have money. Must manage it.
Yes.
So anything of value, that value is created by man.
Yes.
But the native material
Mm.
has value on its own.
True.
But it only becomes active value
When
when you actually work on it
Yes.
to produce something required by man.
Yes.
So if you have an object like this and there's no network, what is it?
It's nothing.
It's nothing.
It's nothing. So if you were to create a community, because yesterday we were talking about community, how far are we in creating a community from the show in the morning to tonight? We are 24 hours from yesterday.
Yes.
What then assist is this idea of converting what you are saying into action. That becomes value.
Yes.
So if there are people out there who want to belong to a community of thinkers, and you are thinking about the idea of ownership, the idea of property. Because if there's no property, what will be the relationship with you?
Okay.
So we are looking at the relationship between man and objects. Animals also have a relationship between themselves and the same vegetation, the same objects, the same mountains. But that mountain may contain minerals of value. So it ceases to be just a mountain.
Yes.
So if you were to communicate today, I was on a show, what were you discussing? Mark, what would you say?
I was discussing property, the relationship between property and man.
Okay, the relation. Is it property that we're discussing, or we're discussing the thinking behind the idea of property?
The thinking behind the idea of property.
So it's not property.
Yes.
Because property itself is already a big territory.
Yes.
There are people who trade in it. There are people who value it. There are people who construct it, develop it, who do many things in the name of property. So they would want to know, what is this thing that why is it so important that you want to improve literacy around it?
Yes.
So we have a lot of people. Some you have heard them. They're called hashtag fees must fall.
Yes.
It's a threat.
Huh?
Yeah.
Is that correct? You were covering them.
Yes.
What did you think of them?
I don't want to even bring it up because it's very tense. There's
Yes,
so
so-
many different views on the situation because
Okay.
I had a perspective from a student's view because I went to the University of Johannesburg, and the Fees Must Fall movement wasn't as big at the University of Johannesburg, where it was
But
very.
what were the people talking about?
What were the people talking about? They wanted equal opportunities.
Okay, so equal opportunity.
They wanted free education.
Okay, they want it free. So let's go through that. So you are now, you've graduated, is it?
Yes, I have
You
graduated.
passed?
Yes, I did.
Ah, okay, so now you are free.
Yes, I am free.
Okay.
Now, I have 2 adults.
But
Now
you are not free enough.
I'm not free enough. I have 2
You still need
adults.
the means
Yes.
to survive. Now you're coming out of the university. And in the corridors of the university, they were talking about equality.
Yes.
They were talking about what?
Free education.
Free education.
Which is fairness.
Yes.
Okay. Where did they say the fairness would arise from?
From
Where would the ancestry of the fairness and equality?
that's come from the government.
Oh, government.
I'm gonna go back.
So what was their understanding of government?
It's a group of people who are supposed to represent the general public.
Okay, where would the milk come from to give the students for free?
From the tax money.
Oh, tax money.
Yes.
So tax comes from what?
The people.
Oh, so it will be taking money from the people who have earned it, is it? Then give it to the students who are not related to you through the government. So the government can only give that which it has robbed from somebody. Is that correct?
You just took the whole situation and you turned it around.
What?
You took the whole situation and you turned it around, and it's not okay.
No, I'm trying to understand.
It's not okay. You're making this movement is very important to me, and you're making it seem like a joke.
No, I'm saying that I'm serious.
I'm also serious.
So I'm saying is the government
The
can
government had promised.
No, the government can only give that which it would have robbed from somebody.
But the government had promised free
No, I'm
education.
saying the people in government, the government has no money. Because the money that comes into government comes from working people. That's property. So you are saying the government must take property from those people in form of cash, is it? Do you agree that cash is property?
Yes.
Yeah. So what we are saying, the government take a portion of the property, give it to these people who deserved education. So work hard, take less. Government takes promise of equality.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you think that is the proper role of government? To rob these people so that this can smile? So I got education. It was free. Hey, this country, I want to go there. Where I graduate, and I say, government gave me money. Does it show that I understand government and property? Because nobody will work hard if they know the fruits of their labor is going to people they don't know.
Yes.
And people who have elected that become now the gatekeepers, the toll gates. And those who have passed now have access to my money. Do you think it's fair to build an inclusive society?
Yes.
Okay, the fairness arises from what?
I feel like if we're trying to build a country
Yeah.
where everybody's educated,
Yeah,
we should all help each other to build this country.
okay.
We had discussed, there was a discussion actually, that it doesn't make sense for the government to give free education to students who are failing.
Also, if I pass, somebody must pay, not me.
No, what we were saying is the problem really that arises with students with fees must fall was because fees were going up.
Oh,
There
that
were,
what?
fees were going up and it was too expensive for
Okay,
people to go
so
to
I
university.
understand that.
So what was happening was students wanted help with the fees. They wanted fees to go lower. They wanted to give other children who are passing very well free education.
So if I say fees goes down,
Yes.
there's no health. Because something has to give. So
Something.
people go to hospital, there's no more medicine because the man has gone to what?
But then you won't have doctors to fill up those hospitals because doctors can't
So
study
where
anymore.
who should draw this balance? Do we go to this little government, this big government?
This government has money in its pockets and it's
Oh,
not sharing.
Where does it government get it from? This is property. You agree that money itself does not go on trees.
No, it doesn't grow on trees.
Okay, so I go and pick up this money. I now have it. But nobody knows where it comes from. Yeah? Do you think it's necessary that students understand where the money is coming from? Because tomorrow they're going to be the future employers. Because if we don't understand where it comes from, we assume that the government is a reservoir of money. It's like rain. It must come from somewhere for it to end up in a dam, is it? Or for it to flow in the river. If there's no rain, can they be captured water?
No.
So where is this money coming from? So that we understand property. How many students understand that money itself is a product of something? It's just a representative of value. How many do you think, and when you were talking as students, was value ever part of the discussion? Or it was just fairness, equity? That the world must be fair. That is the government's responsibility. I don't have rich parents. I don't know where it came from. But I know where the government should be. Were people talking about government as a living thing or government as an agent of the people? Or they were saying government has money, ought to have money.
They were saying government ought to have money.
That's right. So that's the same understanding that most of the people think, that government has money and that money ought to be what? Spent to advance the interests of young people who want education. Absent government, there is no education. And some even include the issue of the past race has changed the dynamic where blacks don't have access. Whites have talking about property, do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. And managing of scarce resources, anything that is scarce, whether it's water requires management, whether electricity requires, if it is an abundant supply, and there are resources, if I take something out, I can't replace it. It's gone. So how do we sustain it? So these conversations, were they taking place in your corridors, or the focus was fees must fall so that the student must benefit and the student must graduate. And those who fail, they've betrayed the trust.
No, they get kicked out of us.
That's right. They've betrayed the trust, so they get off the bus. But if you're in the bus and you pass your exam, don't worry about the cost of it. Because government will provide,
Yes, that's
should
better.
provide, and ought to provide.
So it's still not free.
Yeah. So we are saying that, do you think this conversation on understanding the way things work and ought to work is important?
Yes.
Could you have changed the discourse? Was there an investment in understanding?
Not really.
Okay.
The masses weren't understanding the situation.
Okay, so it's just masses in ignorance or masses in thought?
The masses, I mean, like,
You're saying the students, they
weren't thinking.
They were reasoning with their feet and their hands.
Yes.
Their brains had been what?
They weren't reasoning. Their leaders tried to reason with them to
Yeah.
make them understand, but then, of course,
So the animal kingdom, is there a reason?
no.
Okay, what makes us human?
We can communicate.
No?
Maybe an animal.
That we are possessed with what? Reason.
Reason.
Yeah.
Yes.
Otherwise we're animals.
Yeah, some of them were animals. At the union buildings, it was crazy.
It was crazy. But you enjoyed it.
Never again.
No, I'm saying is you enjoyed the drama.
No,
Huh?
I don't like drama. What happened at the union buildings was horrible. It
Okay,
was out
this
of
is the
hand.
violent side of man.
Yes, it was
The animal side of man.
Yes.
That's what you are.
It was out of order.
Okay.
Completely.
So if we then look at outside the animalistic nature of man, do you agree that we are all possessed with reason and free will?
Yes.
And that is an equal endowment. There's no measurement of reason. Where you can say, I was given more, and now someone was given less. But in the expression of thought, you may discover that there are people who download, their downloads is what is not worth what you would expect of.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. We all don't have the same downloads. Because our experiences are not the same.
Yes.
So do you agree that those who say they can achieve equality by making things fall,
Yeah.
they will be undermining the equality that they are proposing?
Or they don't know what is equality.
Yeah. So some actually don't know what they were fighting.
Yeah.
So when you look at the design of society, and somebody comes to you and say, if you were a god, and you were to design life, would you design it on the basis of equality in living or equality in the design?
Equality in living.
Then what would be the purpose of it? Would you need to live if it's already like a car? It sits there. Does it have to do anything
No.
to move?
No.
Huh?
No.
Would you want to be like that? Where every day someone wakes you up
And starts.
and starts you, then puts fuel into you, and then drive you, and then stop, and you say, please put more.
But you have nothing else to compare it to.
Now,
So you
would
think-
you want life in the design of life, where I put put an injection every day. When you wake up, would it be desirable?
Not for most people.
I know for you,
For me,
would it be desirable? What kind of life would it be?
no.
Where another force tells you what to do.
Like a robot, you have to be controlled.
But would you know any different?
Come again?
Would you know any different if you were?
Would you live that life?
Yes,
I
your
wouldn't-
body will tell you that, you know, and even your conscience at some point,
Yeah.
that, you know, what you're doing, you don't feel like doing it. The fact that you feel tired to say, you know what, there's some, if even that person who has been compelled to doing something,
Yeah.
Yeah.
they'll tell you, you know what, this is too much. But because of that force is too
Yes.
powerful for you and you've given yourself away to them, you just end up doing it.
Yeah.
So you feel it.
Hmm? Would you would not want to be part of that civilization?
No.
So this generation after generation, we have lived life without actually understanding what life is. And our expectations, some of them are not part of the design of life. They are man-made. Equality in life is man-made. Do you agree?
Yes.
Can it be achieved? You have to the FNB Stadium.
Have I been there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, imagine the tickets for Orlando Pirates and what? Kaiser Chiefs
Kaiser Chiefs.
were to be allocated administratively. I go to somebody, gives the tickets one by one, one by one. What would happen?
There'd be a stampede.
The best stampede. There are people who get tickets that they don't deserve just because they know the ticket giver.
Yes.
Yeah. There will be a black market for tickets. So I'll get more tickets than I need so that I can sell the tickets to others, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And when the game starts, do you think the chaos would be finished?
It'll still be chaos. Even after 90 minutes,
Yes.
the
This
people will be still trying to get it.
all the time.
But when you introduce a market system, what happens?
Order.
Order. When you introduce a market system in land, what happens?
Fair distribution.
Order.
Order.
People run away from farms and say, it's too much. This is not mine. Even those who said land first, they were the first one to run away because it's very lonely in a farm when they have nothing to use to tame the land and make it receive seed, and the seed grows to become a crop. And you are sitting there, yeah, and say, I want this to happen. So that is the nature of this conversation. To say, how do we build a society
Yes.
that what? That works for all. Where do we start? How do we build communities? Do you belong to any community where these things are discussed? Do you belong to any?
I belong to this community.
Ocean?
1873.
Okay. All right. That's a good start. That's the University of Johannesburg answer. So what can we do to build the community? Do you think the issues would be of interest to your friends?
It depends how you present the
Okay,
issues.
now how best can you present it?
You'd have to present it in a very simple way,
Okay.
not too complex. It has to be something that they can read instantly.
Yeah.
Because people my age, they want to be able to read quick.
Okay.
Everything needs to be
But
fast.
simple things make you poor. Imagine you go to university where it's simple things.
It's easy to pass.
I've never, is a university where it's easy to pass. I
But
wanna
you are
go
saying
there.
that not easy.
No, the
But-
thing is the mindset of people now of my generation. They very fast with everything. Social media is fast. The news happens
but
fast.
you need to get your education so that you can use it.
Yes.
And understanding of the relation between man and objects called
Yes.
property. Do you think it's good understanding?
It is.
And value, supply chain, value chain, and
It is good.
that
I
if I'm a professional, I have to make an impact
Yes,
to my community.
of course.
So when we finish today, tomorrow we're going to meet you again.
Yes.
And now, not with alone,
Not with,
not alone,
not alone.
but as a community builder.
Yes.
Yeah. With 2 or 3 to say, guys, watch this show.
Okay.
Because we're going to be talking about what is important to all of us. Because this morning, what they were discussing is so important. Understanding what property is, whether it's private, whether it's common, and where it comes from.
Of course.
Once I understand it, I'll be able to make it. Once I can make it, I'll be able to preserve it.
And respect it.
Once I preserve it, I'll be able to use it.
Yes.
But
That
if
is
I don't
correct.
have knowledge of it,
You want to
my
understand?
relationship won't be good.
Not at all.
Yeah. So they say black people and money are soon parted. Are soon parted.
That's important.
Yeah.
Because black people and spending money are like this.
That's right. But money develops legs quickly. And I end up with a story. Blaming somebody.
So are you ready to sing Amazing Grace?
I'm going to sing Amazing Grace.
Now you are. So you've learned something.
Wow, I don't know how to sing to save my life. But Tinashe does. I heard Tinashe singing.
You heard me sing. We was I singing.
He was singing in the corridor.
Oh, come on. I can share with you the lyrics though.
So now he said, so have you learned something?
Yes.
Okay. And yet you learned it before.
No.
Would it have been made a difference?
Yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't have went to the union buildings.
That's right. You'd have said, look guys,
I'd have told them to sit down.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
let's talk.
Let's tune into 1873
Yeah. FM.
FM.
Okay. So you guys have understood what today was. So today you were talking about what? So if I read to you before,
Ownership. Property ownership, yeah?
yeah?
We spoke about ownership, yeah?
No, we're talking about what? You see, ownership is a relationship. Yeah? Is that
Are you going
correct?
to sing?
Yeah, I know the song.
No, you are singing because you're
I'm
saying.
singing. Oh, you showing me? Oh, for me.
Yeah, for you.
I thought you said you were once blind.
Mm-mm.
I thought you said you were once blind.
I just lost my voice.
Okay, let's just go through private property. This is what was said by the Oxford. Private property refers to a kind of system that allocates particular objects like pieces of land to particular individuals to use and manage as they please, to the exclusion of others, even others who have a greater need of the resources.
Yes.
Do you understand what it means? Even those who need education must be excluded. Even those who need land must be excluded for the system to work. And to the exclusion also of any detailed control by society. The moment society says there must be free education, there's something wrong. Because value is not created by society. It's created one individual at a time.
Someone's sweat.
Do you agree?
Yes.
That without individual causation, there is no outcome.
Yes.
Then, though these exclusions make the idea of private property seem problematic, like what you're saying, fees must fall, it seems inequitable. Philosophers have often argued that it is necessary for the ethical development of the individual and for the creation of a social environment in which people can prosper as free and responsible agents. you want prosperity, the mere fact that you work hard, after working, if everyone has access to your sweat and it's democratized, what would you feel?
Because everyone is taking.
Everybody's the same.
So if you robbed, so what are you saying about equality after that?
Never mind.
So now you're saying Amazing Grace.
I still have to see.
I'm not going to sing Amazing Grace. I don't know how to sing.
Okay, he can help you.
Can you sing?
I'll try.
No? I
I'll
can't
try.
sing.
I'll try.
I'm not going to try because I know I can't sing. As you can hear, my voice is gone.
But will you pay me because I'm using my property now?
Oh,
For your
Value for value.
value for value.
these are my shoes.
Oh, okay.
It's my property.
All right.
Hey,
What?
you can sing.
No. No, I'm just going to try and.
This is not idols, my brother.
No, even. Please, gentlemen, help me. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now she's found. She was blind, but now her eyes have been opened today. She sees, yeah.
Oh wow, guys. Can I please take you home? No, I just need you guys outside my shower scene. You guys were fantastic.
Thank you.
Well done, well done.
Thank you.
You have an
Thank you.
angel's voice.
Thank you.
You have the guy in heaven's
Oh,
voice.
get it
St.
out.
Peter.
I'll get a hug after the show.
You got a high five. You got a high five because you're really tall.
Okay, so now I think we're coming to the end
Yes.
of the show. So do you want to do any? So we now understand
Yes.
what the community want to build. So let's build day by day. Those who are interested in being part of this community, please.
Since we're talking about equality. No, you can continue.
Okay,
What do you want to
Since
do
we're
be
talking
part
about
of this.
equality, so they should understand about equality as well.
Yeah.
Into the equality side.
Yeah, you can look for the camera, it's fine.
Oh,
You were saying something very
Yeah.
strong.
okay. She raised something about what the students were fighting for, equality and being free. So let's sing something about equality, what equality is and what freedom is, and where is the address for it.
I tried to look all over the world for the address, but I couldn't find it.
All men by nature,
Alright.
all men. All men by nature are equally free and independent and have certain inherent
Rights of which they cannot deprive.
all men by nature are equally free and independent, free and independent. All men by nature are equally free and independent and have certain inherent
Rights of which they cannot deprive.
all
All
men
others
by nature design and operation of life. Yes, indeed, our land like Jefferson did in 1776, that the equality of man is never a gift, no penalty, no, 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 no. Yes, all men by nature are equally free and independent, and have certain inherent
Right of which they cannot deprive others and posterity. We're equally
free and independent, free and independent.
Hey, after 5 million human experiments, we found it on an idea that the enjoyment of life but not to be universal. The liberty can be divisible into black and white, and not the need of acquiring and possessing property can be race-centric. Pursuing and obtaining happiness and prosperity could be prescribed on racial grounds. That's a no-no. All men by nature are equally free and independent,
And have certain inherent
rights of which they cannot deprive others. We're equally free and independent, free and independent.
conscious about the truth. Minded out United 63. And she's only out trying to turn the world in the following words. During my lifetime, I dedicated myself to the struggle of the Africa. I have fought against the black domination. I have fought against the white domination. I have fought against the black domination. I have fought against the white domination.
All men by nature are equally free and independent,
And have certain inherent
right of which they cannot deprive others. We are equally free and independent, free and independent.
You want a performance by them? Call me. I'm their manager.
What do you think?
Amazing, amazing,
Yes? Amazing, Chris.
amazing grace, guys. All the songs are great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
I'm gonna call my uncle. He's a producer.
How would you rate it out of 10?
Rated out of 10, 25.
No, man.
So I don't know. Was the message clear?
The message was very clear. I understood the second song. You're talking about like all men are free, and you're talking about the Declaration of Independence in America, and you're singing what they're saying, and then he sang about Nelson Mandela's speech. Yours was about, your verse was about. I remember. Wait.
Okay.
I know all of them, but then it was fantastic. You guys are speaking about freedom. You even said something about property. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
But this is someone else's property. I've been told today to learn to acknowledge someone's property, so that even out there, whenever you hear me saying, no, this is my song, what, he penned it down. I really doesn't want us to say that.
You wrote this.
He wrote it.
You wrote this song.
Yeah.
What? You wrote this.
So he's the main man of the thing, and then we're like mics only. We're just.
Congratulations.
Did you get out tonight?
That's actually a really good song.
We're just
Good
impressed.
song.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. I really like it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, we can't get all the credit.
Of course, it's not your property.
It's not your property. It's not.
Yeah, but we're gonna share though. Joke, just a joke.
Who are you gonna rent it?
Can rent it.
Yeah.
But then you guys must cry, fees must fall for the price. For the price of the song, you must say fees must fall.
Yeah, on the song.
Fees must rise. I thought hashtag.
In
You must rise.
It was hashtag Facebook.
Do you want to follow?
Volume has to go
I'm
up.
done.
Yeah.
I'm done with fees.
No, I'm saying is anything that falls is bad for you.
Ah,
He might fall on you.
You never know.
and it would be bad if fees did fall because then there would be too many people in university.
Then education becomes what?
Cheap.
Cheap.
There's no value.
Then it becomes democratized what? Poverty.
You don't want that.
So scarcity is part of this.
You should have came to the meetings, the student meetings,
Mm.
and spoke to us.
Then you know what would have happened?
They would have hit you.
No. Common sense is not common.
Yeah.
Common sense is not common.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people have
But
that.
bad sense is common.
It's for free.
And air that smells is also for free. So we have, you want to do anything? We have 12 minutes.
Yeah, we can. I can do something, yeah.
You have to go.
I must go.
Let's do this. Oh, been together for a while now.
You do a solo, yeah.
We've been together for a while now, growing stronger every day now. It feels so good and there is no doubt I will stay with you as each morning brings the sunrise and the flowers bloom in springtime. All my love you can realize. I will stay with you. Said I will stay with you through the ups and downs. Said I will stay with you when no one else is around. When the dark clouds arise, I will stay by your side. I know you'll be alright. I will stay with you, baby. Stay with you.
I'm gonna cut you out of this video and then I'm gonna make my voice yours. And then I'm gonna post it. Everyone's gonna be like, we wanna sign you right now.
Because no, yeah.
I'm just gonna cut you like this.
You
Yeah.
represent my voice.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
And that one?
And him.
And that
No,
one?
I'm gonna
Which
say
one?
these are my back.
That one.
These
What?
Oh, he has his favorite song.
What's your favorite song?
When you're down the world.
That one.
Oh, that one.
He's famous.
Oh, that's my favorite song too.
You're serious?
When your legs don't walk like they used to before, and I can't sweep you off your feet, will your mouth still remember the taste of my love? Will your eyes still smile from your chin? But darling, I will be loving you till we're 70. Oh, baby, my heart could still flash on it when it breathes. Oh, people fall in love in mysterious ways. Maybe it's all part of the plan. Me, I'm falling in love with you every single day. I just wanna tell you what I
down. I can't believe you let me down. You say crazy, 'cause you don't think I know what you've done. But when you call me baby, I know I'm not the only one. See you tomorrow. Yeah, see you tomorrow. Same time, same place.
Yes, viewers out there, thank you for making the 1873 TV your channel of choice. I hope that you found this program very enlightening and informative as well. You too can be part of the conversation simply by going to the 1873network.org website. So it's www.the1873network.org. Sign up for membership. After signing for membership, which is absolutely free on the website, connect with other individuals, join the 1873 Mentee Circle, and add your voice to these conversations that we're having on building communities of shared interests which matter. And you can also get in touch with us via WhatsApp. The other WhatsApp number that you can get in touch with us is 082 649 2451. 082 649 2451. If you're outside South Africa, remember to prefix +27, or simply make use of Skype. The Skype ID that you can connect us with is the 1873 TV. We thank you for all those who have contributed or commented on this conversation that we've been having, and you can be sure to catch us tomorrow morning. That is on the Continental Sunrise Breakfast Show, as we continue looking at not looking but having conversations so that we can better understand ownership and, more importantly, property. And you too can add 10 minutes. You can give up 10 minutes of your time to add your voice to this meaningful conversation. Let's add value by building networks, building communities that have shared interests, that can enable us to build inclusive, progressive, and prosperous societies. Mr. Mawere, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for giving up time so that you can exchange value with us, and more importantly, with the world out there. Gentlemen, thank you also for the rendition. I mean, your music is beautiful. The message that you're spelling out there is not just entertaining, but it's also informative and enlightening. And I mean, especially the equality song, it's something that just plays in the back of my mind when I hear you guys singing it. Thank you so much once again, and to our viewers, enjoy the rest of your evening wherever you are, especially in the similar time zones. And if you're just woken up, if it's morning, have a great day.
Thank you. Signing out.
Signing out.